Uh, I mean, the only question I have is, when you've got the pull back or you've got retracement, and then depending on which one it is, we would have a test or we won't have a test. That's the bit I've been hearing the past few days from everyone, which I think I've missed that information. If you're kind enough to please help me out with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you're referring to is the difference between a retracement and a pullback.
Yeah.
Okay. So retracement is something that's more immediate. So let's say the NFP comes out, right? Like it's brand new. It just came out and it's like da 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 da. Pow. It just came out. There is no subdivision in this move down. So the guy who started it's all the way up here. But if you get a walk up, this is not a buyer coming in. This is just a seller removing some profits.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why the price comes up. So this area, if you get a consolidation here and it pops, that's the entry. Because it's not going to come back. It'll probably just leave. Okay. This is how close you are to the activity. Now, if this design, let's say it's on a 60, you cannot trade it like that. 60 means this is too much time that has gone by. You're very far away from the event itself that has happened. So now, even though it looks like a retracement because the guy who started us up here, you have to treat it like a pullback, which means once it pops, they will try to retest the guy who killed him. So it will come test him and then go. Because when enough time goes by, people attempt buys thinking that's the bottom. Okay, or da 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 da, da comes down, comes down, comes down, comes down. Same design, but a buyer was invited.
So it'd be a pullback.
This is a pullback. In a pullback, there's always a test. But in this condition, it's a retracement that you have to treat it like a pullback because too much time has passed since the event.
Sure.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay.
So Naveen, just to recap, then the retracement and the pullback on a smaller time frame, let's say on the 5 minutes, on the 1 minute, even 15 maybe, then we would say, okay, if it's a retracement on a smaller time frame, then no test. But if it's a pullback, then pullback on a smaller time frame or higher time frame, there has to be a test.
Yes. So let me do it this way. So just to give you sort of a example here. So let's say you have this. Just by looking at that, whenever this trade's ready, are you going to have a test?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, are you going to have a test whenever this is ready?
No, but if it's higher time frame, yes.
Good. So there's a sense of urgency means no test.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's assume this is a 5 minutes, right? Assume it's a 5 minutes, and then it goes down like like that. No. I'm trying to make it as fun as possible. Hold on. Okay. If it pops and you know it's a high activity time, you're already in a buy. But if you're on a lower time frame, anything is a buy because it's slip and slide all the way till here. So all of these on a lower time frame is buy it. So if this is, for example, a 60, just assume, let's say the test has already come and it's on its way, because you know it's going here and it's very, very active. On a lower time frame, you can do all these pops and just grab them as a retracement.
Right.
Sometimes you don't get them because they're so fast. Sometimes you get one of them or two of them and you're like, resistance is still far away. Do it, you know.
But Navin, if this was a 5 minute chart, we wouldn't worry about that resistance area.
And yeah, because we're most likely just going to go straight through it.
Right, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So that's the key difference between a retracement and a pullback. Most of your things will be pullbacks, like almost 90% of the time.
I have a question related to that. If we get a retracement on the 5 minute, but on the 1 minute, it's a pullback, should we go with the 5 minute retracement and not expect a probe? Just trade it on the 5 minutes instead of trying to grab it from the one?
It's the same thing. It's just depending. 1 minute will give you a more condensed stop loss. A 5 minute will just say, just hit it. It's fine.
Okay. Sometimes, like if we're trying to bounce it, when it comes to a level, the 5 minutes might be doing a retracement, but we want to get it from the level. So we do 1 minute. And in that case, we still wait for that last minute probe because on the 1 minute, it's a pullback.
Draw it for me. I didn't understand that. Hold on.
Okay.
Here.
Oh, I think there's an example with pound USD. Can I go to that chart and let me?
Here. Just pound
Okay.
dollar.
Yeah. It was.
What time frame do you know?
This one. So the 5 minute. Over here, this is not a pullback.
No.
It's a retracement, but on the 1 minute, it has taken out guys who started it. And I think there's a level to the left on the 1 hour that it's kind of bouncing from.
Yeah.
So how would I trade this one?
This would be a set 1, set 2 functionality.
Okay.
This one is, I was focusing purely on the 1 minute on Aussie dollar at that time.
Okay.
That's what causes the mistakes there, because it's like you're trying to get in early, but you're not keeping in mind of, are you selling with the sellers or are you selling at the buyers?
Okay.
Right. You got to still get it up to an area where it's like someone's going to help you if you're in their area. So you got to get it up to seller's area at least. So if I take this and I show it to you from 1 minute. Okay. On the 1 minute, you're saying if this consolidation breaks, it should be on its way down.
Yeah.
But on the 1 minute, this is not a retracement, it's a pullback.
Yes. Okay.
Right. So this thing just keeps going sideways, sideways, sideways. And it could be argued that, okay, it's starting to break now, and that should be my sell right here. Right.
Yeah.
But then the location's not good. But otherwise, that would be your sell on the 1 minute.
Okay.
But the 5 minute will not see that. The 5 minute will be sell there.
Okay.
And then the stop loss will be up there. But if you're a 1 minute guy and you see the consolidation, because it's a pullback, you'll see the consolidation break here and then test up to it. You would get a sell there and a stop loss there.
Okay.
It refines your entry a bit.
Yes. Okay, that's making a bit more sense.
But what would you have to do? Would you have to abandon the trade when it doesn't make a new low and then say, and it pops up, then go up to the 5?
Yeah. So for example, if there's high volume on the sell side, low volume on the pullback, and you get into this trade and you're selling, right? Are you happy?
No.
It's frustrating, right? So it's going to be abandoned ship at this point once it gets above that, and simultaneously it traps those people. So then it's like whenever the next seller comes in, you're gonna have to be aware of this area in case that area is gonna be a barrier for you. And these areas that I just circled will always be there. It just looks like a bottom of a swing before it goes back up. So we always say there's a support there. That's why whenever we look at this, we're like, okay, there's resistance there. Like just very roughly, you can draw it and be like, there's someone trapped in there. I just know it.
Okay.
That's how it's like when the colors change, there's someone trapped there, most likely. The more
And then-
dramatic the swing, the stronger the trap.
For when it comes up for a set 2, I wasn't sure how I should treat that. Was there a trade when it starts to leave here?
Yes.
Because on the 5
So,
minute, it's not a pullback yet. The guy who started is very far away.
yeah, it's a retracement on the 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So on this time frame, if you say that's the new high, you have to take this guy out with consolidation, and now you need a test.
Yes.
You don't get a test in this one.
Okay. So for this one, there was no trade for us, even though we knew what was happening. It just didn't give us the entry.
Yeah, but there is a way you can get an entry
Oh, okay.
because this right here,
Yes.
that's a high volume buyer there.
Buy it. Oh, what high? Okay. Okay.
Okay, there's a bit of a
So-
high volume buyer. So I'm going to show you this on one time frame lower because you're at resistance, right? So, but you're
Yes.
in your mind, you're like, wow, someone just hit the buys really, really hard over there and it broke whatever consolidation was in here. I'll show you this
Yeah.
on a 15 seconds. Okay, even 5 seconds. So you see, like they're pumping it all the way up. So now if they're pumping it, someone is going to try to buy this.
Yeah.
Right? Someone's going to try and
Yes.
buy that. So is it okay I go down to the 5 seconds or is that too much?
That's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We want to see this worm that's come down to the 5 seconds. I want to see them buy because this is their volume again. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we want them to buy. What happened to their buy?
Yeah. It crashing on them.
It's just crashing on them, which
Yeah.
means they didn't even get a chance to lift properly and it's just dying on them. They're all stuck. And then it went down even lower. So it's like, even though we haven't taken this guy out, we're already getting signs of abandoned ship.
Okay.
So these guys are now officially trapped. So now you got a trap above you, and whatever the volume this is, we're like, I don't think it means anything. Because if they really wanted it, then why didn't they go? If they really wanted it, okay, how about now? I'll give you one more chance. Get out of here. There's something wrong with it. It's abandoned ship. And all of this happens to be at my major 60-minute level.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's multiple ways of doing things. The one way is your traditional design element of if I'm at a level, if this happens, that happens, then I sell. The other thing is if you're at the level and someone hits the buy at that level, but then the buy cannot perform. That's another way to enter.
Okay.
And that's how you get climax, like where it's like in this uptrend, there's the highest volumes at the end. That's what a climax does. It makes people buy at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. And when they buy at the end and it turns on them, what happens to all of those buyers?
They get trapped.
That's fuel. That's fuel for turnaround.
Okay.
If you can get that fuel for a turnaround in the context of a main seller who also has a sell volume, then that's your heads up saying, let's go. They're pumping again. Let's go. And you get the early pump.
Okay.
And then instead of taking this guy out, you're already in. You're like, let's go, let's go, let's go. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice, close to the level.
correct. So you
Okay.
can play it in both formats.
Yeah, thanks, Naveen, for clearing
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah, it's just a different edge of entry edge. Like you don't have to always go through the whole pattern, roll over it, kill him, test him. You know, you don't necessarily have to do that.
Yeah.
The whole point is tell me to go now, right? So I'm giving you the different variation of when they tell you it's go time.
Okay.
Easy, right? It's not difficult. Like it's understandable. Of they're buying,
Yeah.
but they're not buying at the same time. So okay, I guess that's it.
But
Yeah,
there was-
that makes sense.
That's the best trade, in my opinion, because that is a sign of pump.
that there's no way to enter that on the by reading the 5 as a 5 retracement.
On the 5, you can enter it as a 5 retracement and have that larger stop loss.
So because I was looking at that just now.
Yeah, if you do it as a 5, then you can do it as a 5 retracement. You see consolidation at this SNR. That's 3 candles of consolidation there.
Yeah, they
at
try to buy.
A resistance. Yeah. So then it's like if it pops that, you just sell it. Because
Yeah.
what a retracement is, it goes down, squeeze it, pow.
Yeah.
Squeeze it, pow. These are basically flags, bear flags. So
Yeah.
whether that's, basically slow it down, pop it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
Just make sure
This-
it's done from a level it's preferred.
Yeah, this isn't a buyer because there's no one taken out. But once it tries its thing and fails, get in.
Correct. There's nothing to take out, right? You're just like, okay, why are they slowing down? I thought they were buying. Why are they slowing down? If that breaks, I'm in.
Yeah.
So bull flags and bear flags and high activity areas are continuing buying. If you remember this pattern, you'll be ready for stocks because stocks will have this a lot.
Yeah.
And when things are hot and active, that's the only pullback you get is that style, or which is retracement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did we answer then all the questions then we had today?
I think it makes more sense now. I was just confused about sometimes we don't get that probe in the pullback when momentum is hot. You showed us the abandonment way.
But there's so many ways. There's so many things that can do. But I am trying to really enforce logic into you guys. Then suddenly all these things will open up, and you'll start to pick up on things that I wouldn't have to teach you guys. Okay, look at it this way, and then it's like, oh yeah, of course,
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it's okay as long as I can keep showing you guys. Okay, there's this technique as well. There's this technique, but it all circles back to that logic, right?
Yeah. It does.
What have they been up to? What does it mean? Okay,